The Warhammer 40 Kelvin universe of Henry Cavill is getting closer to reality. There is just contract negotiations in the bleak dark future of the 41st millennium. Games Workshop revealed a year ago that it was collaborating with Amazon Studios to adapt the realm of its iconic sci-fi miniatures game Warhammer 40,000 to cinema and television. It did it again today, but this time it's official. So, what's the difference between Amazon and Games Workshop? The December 2022 agreement was not necessarily final, but rather one of the initial steps of the licensing process, an agreement in principle. What has transpired today is that the agreement is no longer merely in concept. Amazon now has the rights to create Warhammer 40,000 film and television projects, hire talent to develop them, and eventually bring some of those ideas to fruition. All we can tell you right now is that an elite band of screenwriters, each with their own particular passion for Warhammer, is being assembled to help bring the setting and characters you love to the screen, Games Workshop stated today in a new statement. This implies that work on translating Warhammer's dystopian setting can begin, but it will be a long time before we see anything. TV and film production are massive undertakings. From this point, it's not uncommon for projects to take 2 to 3 years before something appears on screen, Games Workshop warned fans in a press release. For example, in 2019, the game's publisher disclosed that it was working with Spotnitz Productions on a TV series based on the figure of Gregor Eisenhorn, an inquisitor in the Imperium of Man's order of zealous investigators into corruption and heresy. We haven't heard much since, not even that plans to develop it have gone through, though that now seems much more plausible if Amazon has wholesale access to the adaptable rights for 40 Kelvin as a setting, including Eisenhorn's. Is Henry Cavill still working on Amazon Warhammer 40 Kelvin projects? Yup. The former Superman and Witcher, an unabashed fan of 40 Kelvin who has used his platform in recent years to geek out about his miniatures, will still executive produce Amazon's projects, regardless of their form, bringing his pen, sword, or spear to the project, according to Games Workshop. That doesn't necessarily mean Cavill will appear in those films, but come on. That man is far too much of a 40 Kelvin nerd not to appear in some form during all of this. He'll be consulting behind the scenes and instructing as many people as he can on the finer points of Warhammer mythology, but that doesn't mean he won't be on screen. As who? Time will tell, but we've had some ridiculous recommendations in the past.